Okay, this is Mr. Peterson. I'm going to be showing you the properties of logarithms from Algebra 2, Section 8.4. And this first video will cover page 1 of the note set. Okay, we're going to do a little experimenting here on our calculator. We want to find out if the log of this product here is this or this choice. So let's see what log of 6 times 5 is. That gives that number there. And the first choice is to just multiply separate logs. So log of 6 times log of 5. And you can see those aren't equal. So I'll go up and grab that and change it to a plus in the middle. And now we get the right answer. So the log of 6 times 5 is the sum of log of 6 and log of 5. Log of 6 times 5 is the log of 6 plus the log of 5. So that's a little surprising. When you have a multiplication inside of a logarithm, it becomes an addition between separate logarithms. And the way that's expressed in this first property here, which we're going to call the product property, is if you have a logarithm of a product, so for instance log base b of this product mn, product means times, and there's a dot there if you want to make the times obvious, is the sum, I'm pointing at the addition, of the logs, and notice that it is plural here, which means you have to have a logarithm on each of them. So you can use this in either direction, by the way. You can take a product inside the logarithm and split it up and expand it, or you can take an expanded logarithm with expression with two logarithms and a plus between them and put it together and put times between those values. Okay, that's a surprising result, but it always holds true. I can give you another example of that here. I'm going to take the log of 40. And you may know that 40 is 8 times 5, so the log of 8 plus the log of 5, and you get the same result. Mine is actually set on rounding. Let me fix that. These logarithms, there's that last one, and log of 40 is this one. So you may have seen rounded answers on the previous one, but you can see those numbers match. Okay, so there's two other rules, the quotient rule. And the quotient rule says the log of a quotient, here we have a log of a quotient, you can see the divide, m over n, is the difference means subtract. So you put a minus between the separate logarithms. Notice again, there's plural, you have to have a logarithm on each. And so let me give you an example of that. The logarithm of 8 divided by 7 is the logarithm of 8 minus the logarithm of 7. And you can see I get matching results there. These formulas go both ways, so you can start with a single logarithm and expand it, or you can start with two logarithms with a minus between them and make one logarithm with a division in its belly. Okay, then we have what's called the power rule. And the power rule says that if you have an exponent inside of a logarithm, you can bring it down in front and make a product out of it. So you bring it down in front and say times instead of an exponent. And this rule works both ways, so we can take that x and make it an exponent up there. So let me show you some examples down here, and we're supposed to state the property that says this. Well, we have a minus between the logarithms. That's a characteristic right here, so that's a little bit of a hint. We have separate logarithms, and if we divide 28 by 7, we get 4. So let me show you that one. We're going to consolidate this. Log base 2 of 28 over 7. And that gives log base 2 of 4. You can see it's simplified there. And that was the quotient rule that allowed us to do that. Okay, this one here, we have a plus sign between two logarithms. That's a characteristic of this rule up here. And let's see if 3 times 5 gives 15. Yeah, and we're multiplying those numbers. So let me show you how this would be written. Log base 6 of 3 times 5. And you can see that that's going to turn out to be log base 6 of 15. And sure enough, it equals that. So from here to here is the product rule. The other step is just simplifying. Just like here, 28 divided by 7 is just simplifying to get this 4. Okay, on this next one here, we're going to take the multiplication that's in front and we're going to make an exponent out of it. And if you simplify 3 to the 4th, you get 81. And this step from here to here is the power rule. We're going to have two rules on this one. The first rule is going to allow us to take this 2 and come up here on this 4 and make it a 4 squared. We're going to simplify that to, we use the power rule there. And then we're going to simplify this. That's all we're doing on this step here. And then we consolidate, and when we do, this plus sign is going to be sacrificed. You're going to go with log base 5 of 16 times 3. And that's the product rule that allowed us to do that. Product rule, and then you just simplify to 48 there. And this is a typo, it should be a 5 there. Log base 5 of 48. Okay, that does it for page 1 of the notes, and you learned about the product, quotient, and power rules. We're going to use those in the continuation of these notes.